We are now recording.
What's up, Broods and Brudettes? It's the Pico Dudes.
+1.
I'm Sam Rathert, and with me, the man whose mouth's about to go south is Jeremy Hidalgo.
Also sometimes known as Spike.
I don't know what I mean by south. I meant in a explicit way.
That's kind of what I was hoping.
That's not better.
That is not better. Like potty mouth language.
Why do we sound echoey today?
Well, because we have 2 microphones. Normally we have 2 guys in a room doing a podcast.
That math works.
But now we've got 3.
We got 3. Who do we got with us today?
Andy Lusk.
Oh, good.
If you're a PicoBrewer on the PicoBrewers forum on Facebook,
yes.
Then you know Andy Luck is a Andy Lusk. Andy Luck is a
legend.
Is a football player. Andy Lusk is a guy who brews a lot of beer.
He's throwing again.
Yeah, I know. I heard.
Yeah, high school footballs.
Is he still like pinching pieces of his beard off?
He's all washed up. Sorry, Colts. Moving on.
All right. So I messed that one up. It's okay. We got post-processing.
It's all right. We got you like Andy, right? That's how you go.
Yep.
Andy, we're super excited to have you today. We have not been in the Pico Brew game nearly as long as you have, but as soon as we got them and as soon as we got on the websites, we consistently saw somebody who responded to questions in a very helpful manner, who obviously had brewed many of the different types of brews, and it was like, man, this Andy Lusk guy, if only we could somehow get in front of him, but he's probably off in Georgia or something. Turns out you're not too far away.
No, I'm not. About an hour south.
About an hour south. So
yeah, also extremely helpful in the development of the tap room, I hear. From our good friend Ketchu. So I think we reached out and asked if Andy had any brews on tap that he wouldn't mind sharing, so we could mainly see if we're doing it right or get somebody in here with some real experience behind.
Do they all taste like beer?
Yeah, they taste and smell like beer. I think we nailed it. So we're gonna get another perspective. It's a little echoey today, but you get to hear 3 of us.
We're gonna try some Andy's brews, but before we do that, get to know the brewer, if you will. You've been in the Pico Brew game for quite a while. So what number Pico Brew do you have again?
I have machine number 23.
That's pretty close to machine number 1.
That's like after they got through all of their employees.
Yeah,
they sent one to owners. Yeah.
Yeah, I originally backed the first Kickstarter that they had, and I got my machine in September of 2016. I did my first brew on September 9th.
Of 2016.
2016.
Pardon me.
Wow. That's cool.
And how many brews do you think you've done about?
I just cleared 200.
200 Pico Brews. So we know why they're still in business.
Yeah. It's all thanks to this man.
It's Andy. 200. So about $3,500, $4,000 in Pico packs.
Yeah, I think the joke's on Pico, though, because I have the Brew Unlimited program.
Yeah.
Do you still have one?
Oh, yeah.
So possibly putting them out of business.
So exactly. That's magical, and I think they've stopped selling them because some people have figured out how to really take advantage of that program.
Yeah, I average about 8 brews a month.
Yeah, I think I was able to push it to 6 during my 3 months, but I had to employ like some fermentation buckets I picked up at the local homebrew shop, micro homebrew, and
I just completely forgot. I have Brew Unlimited and haven't fired it up yet.
oh. Man,
You should totally activate that.
I should.
you really should before they don't let anybody do it.
I was waiting till I got back from vacation so I could get as many in as once.
Well, you're back, but you've already got like 4 in the chamber ready to go, right?
I guess, yeah, and 6 more waiting to brew. But getting back to Andy, you've got 200 you've brewed. What did you brew before the Pico Brew?
Nope.
So this machine got you into it.
This started me brewing beer.
That's awesome.
So why didn't you brew before?
It's just really I didn't have the time or the facilities or the equipment to do it. And I do a lot of barbecue and I do a lot of stuff with coffee, and this was just like another hobby that I thought would be fun to play around with. And I have a neighbor that had a kind of an inside connection with Pico Brew. He has one of the original Zymatics, and he said you should really check out this new machine they have coming out. It'll do exactly what you want it to do.
That's pretty cool. So do you think this will be a stepping stone into like more all grain or traditional style brewing, or do you think you're gonna pretty much like ride the Pico wave?
I'm gonna stick with the Pico wave. I really like just the simplicity.
Let the experts put it together.
Yeah. You still have the ability to customize your beers with different yeasts, different, brewing styles as far as changing the ABVs, and, there's just a lot of different variables that you can play with this and still have that, home brewed craft beer, but not have all the equipment and the mess and the cleaning time.
Sure. Plus any additives that you want to put in later on, you can do.
Yeah. Well, take us back to the yeast, because you mentioned that. I have always stuck so far with the yeasts that come with the PicoPaks. But it sounds like, and I've read many people online are like, hey, you know what? These are fine, but they're built to be long-lasting and sturdy and keep well, and they're not necessarily the best yeast you could use in the PicoPak itself for the best beer. So have you used non-PicoPak yeasts?
Yeah, majority of the beers that I brew, I do not use the supplied yeast. I use predominantly Yeast smack packs that I get at my local homebrew shop, and I then harvest the yeast cakes and reuse them, and a $6 investment in 1 pack of yeast, I've brewed upwards of 20 beers off of.
Who's your local homebrew shop?
Snoqualmie Homebrew Shop.
You know what? I was in there not too long ago. Those guys they're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
They really are.
You got to run this for them so you can get a little free product.
There you go.
Give them a shout out.
Yeah, no, we went in there. I took the kids for a drive, and kids and the wife. We went for a drive to Snoqualmie Falls one day, just on a whim.
Awesome there.
And we saw the homebrew shop, and my oldest was like, "Daddy, there's a homebrew shop." And I was like, "Can we stop there?" So
that's like a toy store for adults, man.
So we walked around and then talked with him, and they're just great people.
Yeah,
so.
Super down to earth, super helpful, willing to answer any questions you got. Yeah. I've gone in there a lot of times and just been like, "Hey, this is what I'm brewing. What kind of yeast would you recommend?" And they usually have a good supply on hand and hook me up.
Awesome. Wow. Well, what do we have that we're gonna try today? I think it looks like you brewed the 1724 ESB from Franklin Brewing Company.
Yep.
Did you ask a question?
I did,
and then just answer the question.
You know how I roll.
So how old are you? So you're 24?
So you're at least 18, right?
Oh yeah, 18, 16. Oh, sounds like 18. Giggity, giggity.
Oh no!
All right.
So now that I've answered my own question, Sam, do you have anything you can tell us about what the ESB style of beer is?
I can't tell you too much. I can tell you this: the extra special bitter or extra strong bitter, depending where you go. It's just another style of bitter, much like the English IPAs. However, it's often more balanced. May not be as high in hop. It's more balanced with more maltiness, and it's got pretty good alcohol to it usually. And just a really good, easy drinking beer is normally what you're looking for. So people hear ESB and they hear the bitter in it, and they're like, "Ooh, I don't really like them overly bitter." Oddly enough, often not as bitter as many of the IPAs.
Yeah, not even close. I think they're good, nice, balanced beers. I think you can enjoy it, a wide variety of temperatures, since the English usually like them a little bit warmer than we do. I wasn't able to find a heck of a lot on the Franklin Brewing Company itself, other than the fact they're only open to the public on select Saturdays from 12 to 4 p.m. Enjoy those French fries.
These are not French fries.
They are buffalo sticks.
These are buffalo sticks.
From Wingdome. We'll go collect our royalties from them later. And it says it's a private residence, so don't stop by at random. Please contact them with questions.
Wait, where are they?
They are in Ohio.
I don't think I'm going to be randomly swinging by.
Well, we may not be, but people might.
If you're in Ohio, they're open 24/7. So
the deep reach we have with this podcast,
tell them the Pico dude sent you.
Yeah. So this beer is the 1724 Ale. It's one of their year-round beers that they brew, and it's ESB reddish brown and ale, perfect balance between the hops and malts. On the first pour, you'll notice the hop aroma that lightly and quickly fades to the bittering hops, finishing with a slight dryness.
All right.
So we'll get into whether or not that's true, but first maybe Andy can tell us a little bit about how you brewed this particular one.
So this one I brewed basically as it came. I didn't change the bittering, I didn't change the IBUs, I didn't change the ABVs, nothing was any different. Actually, this is one of the packs that I did use the supplied yeast, just because it was different than some of the other packs. It was just, the Cefalio for But brewed it and then fermented for 2 weeks. Fast ferment everything, and usually my fermentation area is consistent within about 1.5 degrees. I use an extra shower that in our house that doesn't get used for anything other than.
Wait. Does the toilet get used?
It's in a different room.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're completely separated. But the unique thing about this shower space is that it's got interior walls on all 4 sides, so no external walls, no variation in temperature. There's no heat register in there, so it keeps a consistent about 68.5 to 70 degrees, and all my fermentation happens in there. And I do everything at 2 weeks, whether I'm fast fermenting or slow fermenting. But this one was literally just as it came. And then after 2 weeks of fermentation, I don't really cold crash anything unless it's something that I am like super particular about wanting to have clean and clear. This is a little bit of a darker beer. It's a reddish brown color. So no real reason. I also planned on taking this one and doing natural carbonation in the serving kegs. Tons of people hate the serving kegs. They are a pain in the ass to clean. They pretty much suck for anything other than 1 or 2 uses. But I did this one in the serving keg because what I do is I do a lot of cellaring, which is I brew a beer, put it into a serving keg, add the sugar, and then let it sit for about a month. And then after it sits for a month, then I'll put it in the fridge and let it sit for a week. And anything that's in suspension is going to fall out within a week.
Sure.
So there's no need to cold crash before racking. I just rack it into the keg and let it ride.
Yep.
And then after that, I use one of Ketchu's tap rooms, and I've got the adapter for the serving kegs, which kind of brought my interest back to the serving kegs again because I had about 2 dozen of them. I'm like, what am I going to do with these other than use them to,
This system makes those serving kegs actually useful for some.
It really does. I mean, it rejuvenated the interest or the need or the use of these silly little serving kegs other than target practice. So I was like, you know what, let's just try this. And I threw it in there, let it sit for a month, and put the adapter on it and put it on the tap room. And honestly, I'm serving it at about 10-12 psi, and it comes out
perfect.
It's got a nice
tap room.
Yeah, it's got a nice perfect pour, great head, and that was basically the process I went through on this one.
Everybody likes great head, especially when it's persistent, creamy, thick.
Good creamy head.
So the IBUs on this are 41. The ABV's at 6%.
And what do you think the SRM is, Jeremy?
I guessed 15 or 16, and it is actually 16.
Yep.
So,
Nailed it.
Yeah, so we're going to try you again on the next one, but good job.
Sounds good.
The shot collar will not be fired off this time.
Oh, God. We're not starting that.
I think that'd be fun. I think that the listeners would like that.
Good. You can wear it on your nuts. And every time I get it wrong, suddenly my record's not going to be as good. I think it's an 86. False. Doesn't go that high. So, do you want to jump into tasting the beer and what we think of it? And
we tasted it.
We have tasted it.
A couple times.
A couple times.
We're 2 glasses in, if that's any indication.
So so I don't have to have another glass because we want to do several more beers today. I've got a little pour left. Other than good, I would say that it does nail the style. It's very smooth. It is very balanced. You do get the bitter finish. I get the bitter finish on the sides of my tongue.
Yeah.
But other than that, you got more malt and sweetness, I think, on the tongue, but not overly sugar sweet. It's a good gentle sweetness and an easy drinking beer. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean it's not a complicated beer. It's not super crazy. My notes basically say
It's crazy.
There's initial bitterness, a light coffee, and then molasses flavor.
Crazy.
So that's a good voice. I think you should use that for your next intro.
Perfect.
So I think it nails the description. I pick up a little bit of a coppery taste, but maybe I just bit my tongue, or it's from the serving keg or something.
You did say you're going down south.
That was just shut up. So
That went wrong really quick.
we'll edit that whole part
Only
out.
if you go there. Yeah, we will, because we always do.
No, I'm marking this explicit. We'll just leave it in there. People can think what they want.
You know, we actually had a listener that responded, says, I'm starting to count how many times you guys say we're going to cut that out.
And then don't.
And then don't.
I'm just amazed we had anybody listen and then respond.
True. So what do you think?
Andy.
Any thoughts you want to add to that? Is this the first time you've tried this one? Is this the first time you've brewed this one?
This is the first time I've brewed this beer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I've generally, there wasn't a lot of ESBs on the brew marketplace, so that was kind of what drove me to trying this one. I'm more of either really dark or IPA.
Yeah.
Not a big blonde fan. Not really into the reds too much, but it was one of the few ESBs.
But, ORB makes a red.
Yeah, no bueno.
Have you tried it yet?
It's not one I'd go back to.
It's not.
We're sorry, Coronado Brewing. we've just had confirmation that what we brewed the first time was about how it turned out.
Yeah, Orby Red, no bueno. No thanks.
Mermaid's Red's pretty good.
Mermaid Red's pretty good.
In case you want a red.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm retarded. ORB is the other one.
Yeah, you went
You're
Coronado,
right.
and it was not them.
No. Right.
Coronado's
Mermaid Red. That was good.
Mermaid's
I'm going to cut all
delicious.
that out.
Yeah.
For reals, though.
For reals this time.
Not for face.
Promise.
I don't want to sound
Scout's
like...
honor.
Yeah. So,
God, this is actually really good, and I'm trying not to have more right now.
it's a really good beer. So, is this anything? Would you do anything differently on your brewing, or do you think you'd leave it pretty much?
If I were to do this one again, I would do a different yeast.
Yeah.
I can taste the Cephali 04 in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I've used this yeast before. I know what it tastes like, and it's after doing 2 brews with the 05, I swore up and down I would never use that yeast again. It's terrible. I hate it. It tastes like shit. The 04 is okay, depends on the style of the beer. For an ESB, I don't particularly care for it. I would probably go with like a Nottingham or some other kind of, fresh yeast from either Y Yeast or White Labs and do it again. I mean, with this yeast, I'd give it like a 3 3/4. It's not quite a 4 for me. I like how it turned out. It fits the style.
Yes.
It's not my style of beer.
Yeah.
But I think I could tweak it and make it my style. If I were to do anything, I would change the yeast and maybe add some dry hops at the end.
That would be interesting.
Give it a little bit more aroma and
a little more nose. I'm getting
to it.
It's a little biscuity for me. I mean, it's got a lot of malt in it. It's very malty and biscuity. Mm-hmm. For the style, it fits it, but it's not the style that I particularly care for.
Yeah, I would agree with you on the rating. I think I'm at probably a 3.5 on it. I would like to try brewing it and try different yeast, maybe the Nottingham one you're talking about. Other than that, like it's good. It's easy drinking. If it was just the 3 of us sitting around drinking beer and talking and not like having a schedule with podcasts, I'd say let's go polish off the cake.
Oh yeah, we would keep drinking.
Yeah.
That's for me. It's a 3.5 too. That's the top of my I'll happily drink it range, but just at my I don't think I'm going to go buy that myself and brew it range.
No. It's not on the repeat cycle for me right now. If I were to do it again, or if I just got bored and needed something to do, I would do it. But it's not something that I'm going to go out of my way and spend the time to do.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sounds good. Well, I think we're going to call this one a wrap.
We don't want to try a second beer?
Well, I think we're going to try a second beer on another podcast.
Yeah, okay. So stay tuned, and we may just bring you more beers.
Yes, we will. We'll probably post them all at once.
Yes, we probably will.
So you'll get 3 episodes. That way you can choose when to listen to us. On that note, Pico Dudes, out. You've reached the end of another episode of the Pico Dudes podcast. Connect with us at picodudes.com, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And if you enjoyed our show, we'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and give us a review wherever you listen to your podcasts, but mostly iTunes. Also, if you want a code that will help give you some discounts off of the PicoBrew equipment, Z150D equals $150 off of the Z series. Pro, Pro 125D gives you $125 off of the Pico Pro, and C75D gets you $75 off of your purchase of a Pico C. We hope you enjoy listening. Look forward to hearing from you. Pico Dudes out.